Hello everyone. It is Jackie with Pocket of Preschool, and tonight I'm coming to you live to show you the addition and subtraction unit. It is gigantic. It is over 200 pages. It's huge. It's full of hands-on activities. It is so much fun. Some of it is geared more towards kindergarten or maybe your higher level pre-K kiddos, and some of it you can definitely use with preschool. So it's a wide range, and a lot of it is too on how you use it. A lot of the things have a 5 frame and a lot have a 10 frame. So you can use it for various levels. So this is the cover. You'll see it. And then what I'll do tonight is go through everything, show you all the games and everything included, and you're gonna love it, and then you can snag it. So at the top of this post, you'll find a link to everything you need. Amazon, because a lot of the things I use for all the units for math are from Amazon. So that is up there, my TPT store link, my blog link. And there are links if you want to see any of the other math video Facebook Lives, those are up there too. And I need to do the pattern one yet. I realized I haven't done that one. So I will do that one sometime this fall. Anyways, let's just go ahead and hop on with the goodness. So here's the cover. It comes with labels. That way you can organize it. I have mine in these rainbow drawers. I'm gonna have to get a second set because there's, I ended up adding more units based on your feedback. So you'll need 2 of these rainbow drawers. Otherwise, there are 11 units in the bundle. And a lot of them are kind of the same. Like they all have a book list. They all have flashcards. And so let me show you the addition and subtraction part. So here is the addition poster. And I know it's backwards for you guys, sorry. So I have a poster for each one. So kind of work on some of that vocabulary with your kiddos. So it's addition, so putting things together. So that's the addition poster. And then here is the subtraction poster. So you're taking it away. So you're taking out that donut and you're gonna eat it. So 6 minus 1 would be 5. And then also too, I have some addition strategies. Draw a picture, use your fingers, number line and counters. So that way you can hang this up in your math center. And the subtraction one, I have strategies for that one as well. Draw a picture, use your fingers, counter, and number line. So you can totally put these in your math center and start talking about all things math and using that rich vocabulary with your kiddos. And just like every other unit, this one has a book list too. So I'll show you some of my favorites. Pete the Cat and his Groovy Buttons is a great subtraction book. Let's see. 5 Creatures. It's basically about different ways you can make 5, and it's about different kinds of families. So there's always 5 people in the family. Sometimes there may be cats, and sometimes there may be dogs, and sometimes grandmas and grandpas, and all moms, all dads. So it's a really great book. And it includes all types of families, which I love, but it's all different ways to make 5. So it's a really fun math book, and it's about everyone is represented in this book too. So this one's called 5 Creatures. It's been out for a while. I think like maybe, 10 years or so, but it's a really great, a great book for your family units too, not just math. Another one is Quack and Count. This one is gorgeous illustrations, and each page is a little bit different. 7 ducklings, 3 plus 4. This one is splashing as they leap and dive, 7 ducklings, 2 plus 5. So it's all different ways to make the number 7. Another fun one, which is great for Halloween too, it's Monster Musical Chairs. Basically, you're just taking away, right? You're taking away each time. So you're subtracting 1. I love these Math Start books. They're great. This one, Domino Edition. Obviously, this book is about, guess what? Dominoes. So it's just great. I think I love the Domino and the M&M edition books, or math books. They're really fun. This one, it's a little bit higher level. It has word problems in it. So this is more of a kinder book. Each orange had 8 slices. So that's a really great one for kinder. And these are all linked to in my Amazon storefront. If they're not yet, I'll check it and I'll make sure to add them after we're done tonight. This one's Elevator Magic. It's a super simple subtraction book. I love it. Had this one forever too. Another math start book. 12 ways to get to 11. If you were a minus sign, so this one's great. It's got some great story problems in it. Again, this one, and if you were a plus sign, these are both more for kinder. But the other ones would totally work for preschool. So the book list, it will be in there in the math unit. So that is in there because we need to sneak in all the math, all the curriculum, all the places, because you know, you just run out of time in a day, right? So that is really fun. All right, now let me show you the really fun stuff. So just like the other units, this one has flashcards. So I struggled with this for a little bit, how to like organize them. So I ended up color coding mine, and there's a set of subtraction, and then there's a set of addition, and then there's dominoes. So you can do each one. So you can put them on book rings, and then each color is a different one. Oops, I turned this. So these are all plus 10. So 10 plus 0, 10 plus 4, and I color coded them and put them on a little ring. So I did that for each one. Like these are the 5 plus cards. And you'll use these for a lot of the games. So you could totally just print off the ones you need. Maybe you're preschool or pre-K and you want to just print off the 1 through 5s. And you don't want to worry about those higher numbers. Maybe you're kinder and you want to work on some of those higher numbers. So I color coded them. That way if they come off the ring, I will know which one is which. Like these are 0 plus. These are great. And these are the little 1-inch binder rings. So yeah, so those are great. So there's addition, and then there's also a set of subtraction. So again, whatever minus 6. So, and then some of the subtraction will get a little bit higher. So again, you can always stick to the lower numbers and start with the little guys, like everything minus 1, 5 minus 1, 3 minus 1, 4 minus 1, all of that. And then again, color code them, or I haven't mixed them up yet because I haven't photographed it yet. But here are all of them. There's a ton, and I just printed these on cardstock, and I didn't laminate them. But you can laminate them if you want, and you can just color code them and mix them up or not. It's totally up to you, whatever you want to do. So you can have a set that's not laminated, just to grab, or you can put them on book rings and use them for games that way. And then there's also dominoes, so you can use those for the games instead. So like if you're preschool and you want to use a lot of these games, use the domino cards, so they don't have to worry about the equation. They're just worried about the counting. So these are the 0 plus. And then again, I color coded these. You don't have to. You can just you can just print off a white set, make them all green, whatever you want. Like here's all the 2s. And obviously if you turn them this way, it's different. So yeah. So you print them off how you want. But I put the dominoes in there that way. A lot of these games our pre-K friends could play if they are not ready to do equations yet. And that's okay. Or number sentences or whatever you call them. So I will be using these flashcards or the dominoes for a lot of the games. And you can also use them too to help if you're kinder. I know one of the Common Core goals is to develop fluency, so those are great for that too. So with the flashcards, I made a whole bunch of plain number mats, and a lot of these are black and white, so you can print them on colored paper. So I just did some basic number bonds pages. So what you would do is you would pick a number bond, and there's one that is horizontal and a vertical, and you'll see there's a little square, and you can either put an equation there, or you could put a domino there, and they would just be adding if you're using the domino cards. So yeah, and then they would get a dry erase marker, and you can have them use mini erasers, I have a bucket that I keep that are just kind of like a whole bunch of random ones. So they can do it that way, or you can use pom-poms or counters, cubes, whatever you want. So they would represent 1 plus 3, so they would do 1, and then 1, 2, 3, and they can either write the answer, which would be 4, or they can slide them in, or you can have them put the total in here. Whatever you want to do, however it works best for you and your kiddos. But basically, we're just figuring out different ways to represent numbers and how numbers are made up of different numbers, basically. So those are the number bonds pages. And then I have read, roll, build, and write. So I have 2 versions. So one, you would use the equation cards. So you would put this at the top. I can't move that out of the way. So you would put the equation there, and then they would build it with cubes or colored pom-poms, whatever you choose. So they would do 1 plus 3, and they could build it. And you could use Legos too. And then they would write the equation 1 plus 3 equals 4. So they could do it that way. Or I have a dice. So you could roll 2 dice. And then they would have to, oh my gosh, I rolled the same as the equation card. So it would be 1 plus 3. And again, then they would make an equation. So you pick. You can either use, the flashcards or the dice. So just more fun, hands-on way to add and subtract, because we don't need all the worksheets. However, there are worksheets in here because I know a lot of you need them for accountability for your kiddos, or maybe your district requires them, or your kids like them. It's totally up to you, but there are tons of hands-on games. And then I made subtraction ones too. And again, there's the board you can use the equation with. Would help if I used the subtraction card. Hold on. And then you would build it. And then I put the X here so they're getting rid of that. So they would have 4 cubes, and then they would be taking 2 off, and then they could write the equation, or they could do the dice, roll 2 dice, and put the bigger number first, 4 minus 1, and then they would have to build it, 4, and then take away 1. And then they would write it, 4 minus 1 is. So, again, just another fun way to explore addition and subtraction. Alrighty, there's that. Alright. And then you guys know I love mini erasers. And I mean, all of us are obsessed, right? Like, we're all obsessed with mini erasers. So I have mini eraser mats. Now I have a 5 frame, I have a 10 frame, and then I have a 20 frame. So you can do 3 different levels of kiddos. So you can use these for small groups and differentiate really easily. You can put them out for table time or arrival, or like everyone has their individual boxes right now. You can put them, give each kiddo one, just print it on cardstock, and then that way they each have their own that is for them because of COVID and all the germs, since either you're back or maybe you're going back soon. And again, there's an empty spot right here, so you could, you can't see that one, so you could put the equation there, or you could use the domino card. Totally up to you, whichever one you want. Let's see, let's use pom-poms for this one. What was that? Oh, sorry, something fell behind me. So this one would be 4. And obviously I have the 20 frame if you're using the higher cards, but this one I could use the 10 frame for. So 4. And you just want to use 2 different colors. So they would do 4 of one color, and then 3 of another, and they would say 4 plus 3 is, and they could say 7, and they can count and check it, and then they would erase their board and start again. So these pom-poms, I will tell you, these are my favorite. They're from Hobby Lobby, and they're just they're on sale like all the time. But I like them because they're little and they're just fun. And you can wash pom-poms, just soap and water, and they'll be okay. And they're great because they work those fine motor muscles. So if you don't want to use mini erasers, you can totally use pom-poms too. So those are in there. And if you were doing the domino cards, they would do 2 and 5. So then you could just use either the mini erasers, 2, ooh, that has Play-Doh on it, 2, and then, well here, let's do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we would do 1, 2 fish plus 5 rainbows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 2 plus 5 is 7. So they could represent it that way. That's a fun little game you can play with addition or subtraction. And then I also have a number line mat because I know number lines are another strategy we use to add and subtract. So again, I have the little cards so they can just, you can put the equation on there and then they can use a dry erase marker. And so they would start at 4 and then they would jump over 3. Whoops. 1, 2, 3. And then they would get to 7 and then they can erase and try again. So, and if your kiddos have trouble erasing or maybe your like dry erase pockets or sometimes I get like a weird, if I buy like off-brand Expo, they don't erase really well, which is a bummer, right? But you can always slide these in a dry erase pocket too if you have if you're having trouble, your kiddos are having trouble erasing for some reason, because every once in a while it happens. All right, so this is my favorite subtraction game in the whole bag. So this is called, I'm going to show you subtraction first because it's so much fun. So this is a subtraction smash mat, or if you don't want to use Play-Doh, you can use trash. But I'm going to show you the smash mat first. And again, I have there's a 10 frame and a 5 frame for you to pick from. So use whatever level your kiddos are at. You can use 5 or you can use the 10. And then there's these little number cards. So obviously if you're using the 5 mat, you only need number cards up to 5. So let's say I pick 3. So you do 5 minus 3. And guess what we're gonna use? We're gonna use Play-Doh. And when we use Play-Doh, they are strengthening those fine motor muscles, right? And they're using their senses, they're getting some sensory in. So what you wanna do is you wanna fill up the board first, because we have 5 to start with. So we have 5, and we are gonna smash 3 of them. So you can either use these hammers that come in the construction section, or if you can't find these hammers, or if your kids break them, because I don't know why, but these hammers, they just don't make them very strong. They break really easy, or at least that's what I found with my kiddos. These rubber mallets, these wooden mallets are on Amazon. You get like a pack of like 5 of them. I have them linked up at the top, but they work really well too. So then they get to smash the Play-Doh. So they would 5 minus 3. So they would smash 3. So they would smash 1, 2, 3. And when they're smashing with this, they are using this upper arm muscle, which is great because they need strong upper arms when they go to write. So they're smashing 1, 2, 3. And if you have kiddos who love Play-Doh or who love construction or are kiddos who are smashing and crashing and dumping, this is the game for them, or any kiddo really, because they love smashing. So how many are left? 2. And they can either write it, or you can just have them say it, or say it to a buddy, say it to a friend. It's just so much fun. And then what they do is they just make the Play-Doh again, make it back into balls, and then they pick another card. So I made these in like a general, like black and white with no theme. That way you can use them all year long. So that's really fun. Or, where is it at? I also made them with a construction theme. And again, I made a 10 frame and I made a 5 frame. So you pick the level that your kiddos are at. So I won't do 10 just for time's sake. So again, we're just exploring different ways to compose and decompose 5. So you would just, again, just make your 5 Play-Doh balls, and then they would pick a card, 5 minus 2, so they get to smash 2 of them. 1, 2, and then how many are left? 1, 2, 3, and then they would write 3 or just say 3. You don't have to have dry erase markers out, as long as they're having that conversation with you. Again, this is my favorite math game out of the whole pack, for sure. And then you have to have an addition, or a non-Play-Doh. I have a non-Play-Doh one. This is a trash mat, so instead of using Play-Doh, you would just use objects. So again, I have a 5 frame and a 10 frame. You pick the level that your kiddos are at, and again, they just pick a card. I'll use the 10 frame since we didn't last time, and all they do is they fill it up. And you can use themed mini erasers for this. You can use themed counters. You can use buttons, pom-poms, cubes, anything. Anything you have in your classroom, you can totally use it. So that's why I made them not themey. Not everything has a theme to it. So 10, and they pick a card. These are just, again, the number cards that are included. And so 10 minus 7, and when they put them in, they put 7 in the trash. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and how many are left? 3. So 10 minus 7 is 3. So, and I thought, pushing stuff in the trash and getting it away, it's another, it's kind of a way for them to visualize subtraction, because we want them to be visualizing math in their brain, right? We want them to be thinking about numbers and thinking about all the different ways they can compose and decompose numbers. So when they think of subtracting, they can think of like throwing stuff in the trash. They're getting rid of it. They're taking it away. So I have a little trash can there as a little visual support for them. And I made, again, a lot of these just black and white, so that way you can save ink. All right, so, and then I made a addition version. So this one is just building 10 and building 5. So obviously you would start with the 5 or 10, depending on where your kiddos are at. And this time they're building it. So what they do is they can pick a number. So 3, and then 1, and they want to do 2 colors, 1, 2, 3, and they have to figure out how many more do they need to get to 5. Oh, I need 2. 1, 2. So 3 plus 2 equals 5. So that's another fun game. And again, these are just a whole bunch of different ways we are building and making 10 and making 5, so they can just have that really, really great strong number sense and sense of number. And then this one is a themed version of that, but with cards that they pick. So they are making 10 they are making a gumball machine with this. So they get to pick, and these, you can use pom-poms, you can use color cubes, whatever you have in your classroom. You can use pony beads too for this game if you don't have pom-poms. So they would pick out 2 purple ones, 1, 2, and then they would need 8 green ones. And again, we're just building 10, and then you can say like 2 plus 8 is 10. And then you can pick another card. I'll not build the whole thing for time. But these are all different ways to make 10. They're all different colors. So they're building 10 again, just another way. More addition. So I tried to make a game that's subtraction and one that's addition. And I know some people ask like when and how do you use these? I personally sprinkle in math all year long. You can totally use these units to like pick one unit and focus on that for the whole month. Like maybe in February you want to focus on addition, and maybe you're just going to play the addition games out of here. And then in March, maybe you're just going to focus on subtraction and you're just going to do subtraction that month. Or maybe you're going to sprinkle it in. Maybe you have a kiddo who's struggling with addition and you're going to pull some of these games and use that for some RTI work or some small group. So that works too. Use these however works best for you. and your kiddo. So in my other math units, I had Build It with manipulative. So these are just some Build It boards, and these would be great for like morning table time, early finisher bins, and they're just using color cubes to add together and make different numbers and see what the total is. So they're just building it and adding it with the different color cubes. And again, I put the problem up here. You can have them right in the corner with the answers, or you can have a dry erase board. You can have them just have a piece of paper over here, or you can just have them talk about it. Just because there's an equation in the corner doesn't mean you have to have them write it down. If you are preschool, you can just talk about how when we're adding, we're joining two different things, and it could just be an exposure activity for them. So it really depends on where your kids are at and the conversations that you're having with them, at what level they're going to do these games at. Like a preschooler could totally play this game, but it would just be more of an exploration, like open exploration activity, and more of color matching and counting and putting it together. But if you are in kinder, you're really going to be focusing on how many do I have of each color, and I have 2 and I have 8, and I put those together, and how many do I have all together. And then I also have some subtraction mats. So these are, so you could put the pom-poms on the jars, and you can match the colors, or you can not match them. It's up to you. You could also use buttons. But again, so they had 6 and they have to take away 3. And I've just put X's on them so they know that we're taking those away and how many are left. 1, 2, 3. So yeah. So another fun little addition game, or subtraction, sorry. And you guys know I love puzzles. Kids love puzzles. So I have an addition and subtraction puzzle for you. I did write in the corner if it is the addition or subtraction puzzle in case they get mixed up. But so this is what the addition puzzle looks like. So there's a number, and then there's a combination of color cubes, a combination of dots, and then a domino. And it goes up to 10. And just because things go up to 10, don't feel like you have to use all of them. It's just kind of like when you're playing an alphabet game. If your kiddos are not ready to use all the puzzle pieces for the alphabet, don't put them all out. If they just need to go to 5, if they're just working on till 4, just put those numbers out. You don't have to put out all of them, especially if it's overwhelming for them. And then the subtraction puzzle looks like this. And again, I put subtraction in the corner, and it's kind of a pirate theme to it. Here's just 7 and 8. So there is 7, and then they're taking away some of the treasure, and they're taking away some of the ships and the palm trees. So just different ways to decompose those numbers. And then this one, y'all are gonna love. Okay, so these are little puppies and kitties. My other math units have had some kind of like bead lacing game. Because you know we need to build those fine motor and sneak in fine motor whenever we can. So I thought, why not compose numbers with beads? And it's like a little pet on a leash. So there's puppies. And I know kitties don't really go on a leash, but we're going to pretend for this game. And I just taped a pipe cleaner on the back. Put 6 beads on, but they're going to put 2 different colors on and make 6. And they can make 6 different ways. They could make it just one way. They can make 6, and then they could pass it to a friend and see how they make 6. So I did 2 blue beads and 4 pink beads to make 6. So now I got my little doggy, and I can take him on a walk. So cute, right? And again, because we're using beads and pipe cleaners, you're making addition hands-on, and you're helping them build those fine motor muscles and doing it in a way that is fun and engaging. All right. Okay. I don't even know what to tell you next. There's so much fun stuff in here. So these are a fun addition game. So this is just order up. So all they're doing is they're making their sundae and adding. So they have 3 scoops of ice cream, 1, 2, 3, and I just have cotton balls that I'm throwing at you. And then 6 sprinkles. And I have these cut up pipe cleaners because I usually put them in my Play-Doh trays. So I just had them. So now they're going to put on 6 sprinkles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then how many do you have all together? 9. Then they can either count it or, and they can count to check if they want. And again, you don't, just because there's a spot down here doesn't mean you have to use a dry erase marker. Just as long as they're having those conversations, that's the most important part. So that is the ice cream game. And then here is I have another addition game. This one is the vegetable soup. So you can use a real pot, or I have a pot mat included. So they're just making soup with different vegetables, and I just use pom-poms. I literally have a bucket in my supply closet of different pom-poms. You can tell these are even different colors. So there's 1 corn, and then 8 tomatoes. So they add them together, and how many do you get? 9. Oh my gosh. And you could totally play this game for distance learning. You could say, oh, today we're gonna make some vegetable soup. Can you guys help me? And you can have them help you count 1, put it in. You can have them help you count 8 tomatoes. Then you can count together and have them yell out the answer. So this would be a fun game for distance learning. I know somebody said that on one of the comments. So to have a subtraction game, because I tried to make sure I had the same amount of addition and subtraction games. So I have how many are hiding. So I have this game in some of my other units, but it is so much fun. My preschoolers used to love this game. So there's a Nemo, or like an ocean version. There is a dinosaur with a volcano. There are some bugs. And then this one is the bears. And I did include a black and white version of this because I know this is a lot of ink. So there are a couple ways to play this. So the kids play with their partner. And what they do is you pick how many bears to put out. So maybe you are working on decomposing the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we're working on decomposing the number 4. So you start with 4 bears. So player 1 closes their eyes, and then player 2 hides some of the bears or has them on the mat. So while player 1 has their eyes closed, player 2 has to close their eyes. This would be really fun for distance learning too, because they could all close their eyes on their computers. And then they would say, so player 1 has their eyes closed, player 2 just hid some of the bears, and then you say, open, I'm ready. And then player 1 has to guess how many are hiding based on how many they see. So they're basically doing a subtraction problem, right? So they had 4 bears and they see 2. So 4 minus 2 is 2, and they can check underneath. We do have a rule though that you can't hide them under the board because they're creative and that will happen. So they can, basically they're gonna decompose and compose numbers all different ways, and they take turns. So Susie closes her eyes while Bobby hides them, and then they flip flop. He closes his eyes while she hides them. And then I do have a recording page with that. So we are doing number 4. So that way, if you want them to see, of course that for some reason I didn't print that one, of course. But here's what it looks like. So if you're working on decomposing 2, and I did them 2 to a page. So they would say, you have 2 bears. So if you're working on decomposing 2, they would each have one of these pages, and then they can write down. So they had 2, and they can see 2. So how many are hiding? 0. And then player 1 closes their eyes, they hide, and then they can record the results. So you have that option, and I made these. So these recording pages, and it goes all the way up to 10. These recording pages work for any of these themes. So you don't have to print them for different ones. And that way, maybe if you wanted to give them a choice too, of which theme they want to do, you can do that. Oh, I forgot about the other way you can play it. So if you don't want to use these bears, so if you notice, I did bears, insects, what else? Bears, insects, I don't know, dinosaurs, bears, insects, dinosaurs, bugs. So those are counters that almost everybody typically has in their classroom. So what you can also do is take a bowl, and any bowl that's not see-through will work. And all you do is tape yourself together, of course. Okay. And then, oh geez. Okay, we're just gonna pretend it's on there. So, my bowl is a little bit big. Use a cup, sorry. That was for a different game. Okay, so you take and you put it on your cup. So now you have a cave that stands up. And then you have your bears. And you can just use counters, your counter bears. Because most people have those in their classroom. So if you're, again, working on 4, they could have the 4 recording page, and you could say, okay, ready, close your eyes. And then the other player hides them, and they're hiding them under the cup. And then the other player has to wait and see how many are hiding. You know, I'm ready, and then they can open their eyes, and then they can guess how many are hiding. And it's just really fun, and just adding the cup and adding the manipulatives just makes it extra fun, because then there's something in their hands, there's something that they can hide, and it makes a little bit of noise, and it's just a little bit more exciting. So I actually played this game with my preschool kids every year for different themes. I would have everybody decompose the same number that was in my small group. So I would introduce the game, show them how to play 1 or 2 times, and then they would go play in pairs during small group time. So like day 1, I had my older kiddos that were ready, and maybe they were decomposing the number 4. And then the next day, maybe my 3-year-olds were decomposing the number 2. Because you guys, 3-year-olds can totally play this game, but they just have to decompose a lower number. Maybe they're just playing 2 bears. So they're just developing that number sense just at a lower level, but 3-year-olds can totally play this game, because my kiddos did, and they loved it. So, yeah. And these cups, they're from the dollar store. Like, you can get like 12 of them. I use these in my preposition unit too, but these are really fun for so many things in your classroom. So that is How Many Are Hiding, a super fun subtraction game. All right, checking it all the time. All right, another one. Okay, are you guys ready? You guys ready for tacos? So apparently I was hungry when I developed this game, because look how much fun this is. So you're basically making a taco. So there's different cards. There's cheese, there is lettuce, and then there's meat. So they have to pick 2 cards. So I have 2 and 2. So they pick 2, and then now they have to build it. And you guys, this is just foam. I literally cut this stuff out of foam. You can also use pom-poms, totally up to you. So we have 2 pieces of cheese and 2 pieces of lettuce equals 1, 2, 3, 4. And they can write it down, or they, again, can just talk about it. And then these games also come with a recording page to match. So you can have them record it, or they can just keep playing over and over and over and over again. So it's a really fun game, just to, different ways to practice that addition, and just start to develop that fluency too. So we have Taco Edition. Oh, and these little jars too are from the Dollar Tree. So fun. Okay, hold on. My tray stack is starting to fall. It's getting a little tall over there. All right, so this one's pizza. And you guys, I totally cheated and took the toppings out of my pizza stew game. So if you have a pizza stew game, you can grab them from that. Except I did use the little pom-poms for olives. So we got peppers, pepperoni, and then olives. So I have 4 olives, and then I need 2 pepperoni. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So now I have 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then they're talking about pizza. Everybody's gonna be hungry for pizza, but they're so much fun. Yeah, and you guys, it has a recording too. So we have the pizza, we have the taco, and I had to get donuts this morning because I cut this game out yesterday. So this one is donut edition. So they're adding sprinkles onto their donut. And I just used pom-poms. So they have, why do I always pick the big numbers? So we have 1 plus 2. So I need 1 purple sprinkle and 2 blue sprinkles. So I have 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 2 is 3. So that is so much more fun than a worksheet. However, if they are there, if you need them. And these are those pom-poms I get off Amazon. So I either get my pom-poms from like Hobby Lobby or Amazon. And then this one is the last edition mat. This one's waffles. Okay, so if you love waffles, then this game is right up your alley. So we have whipped cream, syrup, and then we have strawberries. But after, like right before I went live, I thought, how much fun would it be to use pieces of string for the syrup instead of the pom-pom? So you can also use pieces of string. So maybe we have 4 spoons of syrup, and let me find a smaller one. 2 scoops of whipped cream. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, if you want to sneak in more fine motor, you can always put tweezers out with any of these games. If you have kiddos who can't count up to 9 yet, that is okay. Just put out cards 1 through 5. That's totally fine. Do play it, again, where your kiddos are at. Don't feel like just because it goes up to 9, you need to put that many out. Totally fine. So yeah, and even if they're not adding, they're still exploring putting numbers together. So they put 4 and 2 together and then count how many they have all together. Even if they're not saying the addition sentence or the number sentence, it's okay for the little pre-K friends. But if you're in kinder, then you want to encourage them to say that number sentence. 4 plus 2 equals 6. So that is the waffle edition mat. And then, since those were so much fun, I made subtraction mats too. And I try and make a lot of the games similar, so that way if they learn how to play one game, they will know how to play the other one, and you're not spending all your time teaching and playing. They're spending their time playing, and you're not spending time teaching how to play the game. Oh, the little clear bowls. So these clear bowls and then the other clear bowls, they're in the fancy section at the Dollar Tree. And you get like a pack of 4, or these come in like a pack of 8, and you can wash them in the dishwasher. They're great. But yeah, they're awesome. I like them because you can see what's in them. And if they fall and they break, it's no big deal. But yeah, they're in like that fancy, party section at the dollar store. So these are the subtraction mats, and there's, for all the subtraction mats, there is a 5 and a 10. So if you pick the 5, because your kiddos are working on subtracting 5, then you only want to put out cards up to 5. So you'll put the cards down here, and they'll pick a card, or put 5 apples in their tree, and you can use mini erasers, you can use pom-poms. So they had 5 apples in their tree, and 4 fell out. So 4 went in the basket. 1, 2, 3, 4, and how many are left? 1. So 5 minus 4 is 1. So a really super fun, easy way to play, to explore subtraction, and subtracting from 10 and subtracting from 5. And these are just Apple mini erasers. You can use with that. And then I did, so there's 4 of these too. And again, you can use these for table time. You can use them as a morning bin. So again, we have the 5 board and the 10 board. So you could have these out at the table in the morning table time. Give different kids the boards that are appropriate for them. They're all playing the same game, but at their own unique level. So you have the 10 board and they picked a card. And so these, you have seashells falling into the bucket. So these seashells, I want to say probably from the dollar store. So you start out with 10 in your sandcastle. 1, 2, we'll just pretend that's 10. I think it's 10. And now I have 5 of the sandcastle, 5 of the seashells go in my bucket. So I'm going to take 5 away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now how many is left? And you can count, and they can say the sentence. 10 minus 5 is 5. And I tried to make these pretty realistic, so it's things that like the apples fall out of the tree. So they're taking the apples away. They're taking the apples or the seashells off the sandcastle. And then, you know, kiddos love dump trucks and diggers. So again, a 10 and a 5 for your different levels. And they pick the card. And these are rocks from the dollar store. So you have 5. And then 2 rocks fell out of his truck. 1, 2. And how many are left? 1, 2, 3. I have 3 rocks left in my truck. And then pick a card. You put all the rocks back in, and then they can play again. Oh, and these do again come with I'll show you the B one in a minute. They come with a recording page. You don't have to use these, but I know some of you guys are required to use them, or maybe you want to use them. It's totally up to you, but they are in there for you. And the last one is a bumblebee. So we have a 5 board and a 10 board. And then we have our little bumblebees. And I just use bumblebee erasers. You can just use yellow pom-poms too. Oh, my colored trays are from Target during back to school, but you can also grab them at Michael's sometimes, but Lakeshore has them as well. So I have 5 bumblebees, and 5 of them flew out of the hive and are on the flowers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, there's none left. I have 0. So yeah, so again, mini erasers are great for these. You can use pom-poms. And then on the directions too, I always give you ideas on what you can use for manipulatives. Okay, I have one more activity for you guys. All right, you ready for this? So cute. So these are these little monsters. So they're either addition monsters or subtraction monsters, or you can use both and work on fluency. It's up to you. So I just have these little math facts, and they have all levels. So you can either just print them all out, just print out the ones that your kiddos are the level they're at right now. So, and then the monsters are gonna eat them. And I just, again, tape them on the cups from the dollar store. So these are of course, the higher ones. Whoops, the higher ones in there. So 4 plus 0 is 4. And they can make the noises, and they can pretend to eat them. Now, I do have the monsters that go up to 10. You can put them up to 5 if you're working on adding or subtracting to 5. You can put them all out to 10. It's totally up to you, just for so they don't all fall over on me on Facebook. I just put out 5. But yeah, but you can totally put them out to 10 too if you want. You can, again, there's subtraction and there's addition, and you decide what you want to do. I try to keep a lot of options on these games for you guys. So the other one I had, and I'll show you like this. So it's little robots. So I'm almost done anyway, so it's okay. So they are little robots. So someone is asking, can you use the dominoes for this game? And you could totally use the domino cards that are included in the set. So they could totally eat the domino cards. They could totally eat the flashcards too. And that way, if maybe each kiddo has their own set of flashcards they're working on, they could do that, or they could eat the domino cards too. So that is a great suggestion. Thank you for that. So yeah, there's also the little robots. Those are really fun too. And those come with addition and subtraction as well. There are more worksheets included in this pack. There's some like about Let's Make 5. There's some that go with Subtraction Smash. There are some with number bonds. And then there's some dominoes. So grab all the things for your math units. I'm trying to keep you guys using the same things for all these math units, like color cubes, pom-poms, beads, mini erasers, counters. That way, if you like maybe you purchase bug counters, that way you can use them again. So that way we're kind of reusing what we already have in the classroom. Yes. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. So I hope you love the new addition and subtraction unit as much as I do. All right. Well, you guys have an awesome day. If you're watching the replay, have an awesome day or night, whatever it may be. And I will talk to you then.